Hi, I'm Lee. I'm on the interwebs at www.louleigh.co.uk. I'm on Ravelry as louleigh. I'm on Instagram as Instamatic louleigh. Somewhere else. Ravelry, Instagram. I've got a bag shop on Etsy at Shop Louleigh. Because I make these little bags. This is one of the latest ones. Medium size. And they have pocketers. Are there pocketers there? Are the pocketers? Yeah. So, there we go. I think those are, I feel like I'm forgetting one. Ravelry, Instagram, interwebs. Oh, here comes Barney, head of quality here at the bag factory. I think he's just going to make a nuisance of himself. Now you can see my ironing board. This is a great start. See how this podcast is ever so professional. This is a knitting podcast, although there's probably a little bit of other stuff as well. I'm looking a bit pink. I've been to the allotment this afternoon. I've been turning my compost heap, which is something I really enjoy. I like the cyclical nature of turning waste back into something good for your soil. We're all about good soil structure. Anyway, that's not your cup of tea. You probably don't want to hear about my allotment. But yes, so I've just been down there and I've come home and had a shower. We had a lovely lunch down there. Our corn has just started to be ripe enough to eat. And so my dear allotmenting chum had brought her camping stove. And we had corn and some other sort of roasty vegetables while we were down there for our lunch. It was very, very civilised. And I've had quite a good day. There's some other stuff been going on here, but I'm going to tell you about that as we go along. So, knitting! You came here for knitting! If you're not a knitter, you can always stick around. We might turn you into one. Or not. Yes, that's what I forgot. There's a Ravelry group. If you want to join the Ravelry group and come and say hello, that would be marvellous. I'm always curious to know who wants to watch me yammer on about my knitting. So stop by and say hello. You can still hear Barney. He's having a scratch. What are you doing, boy? Right, okay, so on with the knitting. So last time I spoke to you, I showed you the Enchanted Mesa by Stephen West. I haven't brought a pattern picture with me this time. I'm just wondering if this is going to be a bit shambolic. What else have I forgotten? Anyway, if I haven't got it here to show you, I shall link it in the show notes. There's a lot of stuff that generally my Ravelry pages are pretty up to date. So anyway, this is my Enchanted Mesa, and as you can see there's just a few more sections from last time. And I think I told you about my rule. I'm trying to sort of finish off some things, and so I decided that I can do another section on this every time I do a cast off, and that doesn't mean I've necessarily finished a thing, it just means that I've come to an edge where there's cast off. So anyway, that's been going quite well. I've actually been chugging away at some things and picked up some things that I've not looked at for a little while. And been really enjoying going back to those old whips and doing the little segments on this. It's been lots of fun. But anyway, I wanted to show you this again because when I came to start this jumper, I found a really good little video by Jolie at Jolie's Kitchen. And she explained how you do a swatch in the round. And I've done a number of funny things. I've swatched in the round and then cut it open. And I've done that thing where you leave long bits that go across the back, and then you still can't really lay your swatch back. Well, maybe I did it wrong, which is highly likely. But anyway, she has a marvellous video for swatching in the round. Here is my swatch. And she shows you how to do it so that you're still knitting the whole time, but you end up with a flat swatch. There's no cutting of yarn, so if I wanted to I could actually still undo this and reuse it. You do end up with these little tassely bits on one side, but that's not so bad. and it's really clear and straightforward, and as I say, really easy to do. So if you are if you're sort of starting something off and thinking, ooh, swatching in the round, or you've not tried, or you're looking for a new technique for doing it, then go and have a look at her video. I thought it was really good. So yeah, there you go, swatching in the round. So that's the Enchanted Mesa. What else am I doing? Oh, this is the sock segment. I actually think the sock segment's probably going to be a bit lame today because my sock looks much the same as it did last week. I've started the second sock and I'm still not up to the heel yet. However, actually it wasn't last week, it was a few weeks ago. If you were here a few weeks ago, you will notice that I had some pretty dodgy sock blockers made out of a box, and you'll notice that this time I have purchased some fancy sock blockers so as I can show my socks off much better anyway. Let's have a look. Can you see who made them there? I'll put that there. The hairy man says hide my head so it will focus, so hopefully you can see what that says. Because I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of the fellow's Etsy shop that makes these. I think it's Finnish. Sokkaplocky accessories. Made in Finland from 100% recycled stuff. And the packaging is all recycled as well. But it's so neat that you really feel like you're getting a recycled treasure or something. They come packed in newspaper and whatnot and old corrugated cardboard, but it's so neatly done that it actually looks a bit nicer than some of the things that I've had delivered that aren't in recycled packaging anyway. And they're all nicely finished off. So anyway, I have fancy sock blockers. So when I do have sock progress, I can display my sock progress so that you can all go, ooh, ah, she's actually done a bit more. Right, so that's that one. I have gone back this week also to work on my woolly worm head hat. Now this was the mystery knit along from last year, and it's been such a long time that I have actually gone and printed off the finished pattern, so I do know what I'm going to get now. If you watched that episode ages ago. Am I doing this thing? I did that thing where I gave away all their Stephen's copyright stuff. I had to edit my... Anyway, hopefully I haven't done it this time. There you go. So that's the pattern. Sephora. And I have picked this up again. It probably looks much the same as it did last time I showed it. Actually, it just looks like a big brown blob there. So the yarn is a lovely Gotland yarn that comes from the little grey sheep. I can't even see if it's focusing now. And about how pretty this is with all the colours in it. Maybe you can see that, maybe not. It's got lots of blues and pinks and whatnot in it. And I have given myself a deadline for this. I'm heading off to Shetland for Shetland Wool Week with some lovely knitting chums, and I'm going to take this hat with me to keep my ears warm. So that gives me plenty of time, I think. I think I'm nearly up to the crown shaping, so that should be okay. Right, so that's my woolly worm head hat. It's plodding along. This is the next thing. When I finish this I can do another segment, so I need to crack on. Crack on, woman, crack on. And you would have seen at the beginning that I had a finished object. This is for my little niece, who is, I think she's about 3 months old now, Ruby. I lose track. I'm a terrible auntie. Yeah, and I made this out of Woolmey's DK, which I think is a really nice yarn. You wash it in the washing machine and it softens up beautifully. This is just a design that I improvised. I've improvised it a few times before. I have a nephew who is wearing something remarkably similar. And I think I'm going to make a bigger one for Ruby's older sister Ashley, who is, I have reported, is growing out of the Tom 10 that I knitted her a few years ago. I don't know if I'm going to make it out of Woolmey's again. I'm going to have a poke around at the wool shop that I work at and just see what we've got there. Right, so hold on, I was talking about the yarn. Woolmey's DK, and the colourway is Coral. It's actually spelt in the German way, and I don't know how you pronounce it in the German way, so, but it's a really pretty colour. I like it. I think it would look good on me. What do you think? Anyway, and so that was quite fun, and it had 3 cast offs. 1, 2, 3. So I got to do 3 segments on my other jumper. And the buttons, I really like these. I got these on holiday in Estonia, in this little shop in Haapsalu, where all of the Estonian shawl stuff seems to come from. My chum and I went visiting there, and they had some wonderful shops, and so I got myself a little stash of these buttons. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. I'll hold it close and it might focus and it might not. Hold on, let me get my head out of the way. They've got little hearts on them. I think they're sweet. Yeah, maybe you saw them. Maybe you just saw a fuzzy blob. Gosh, I'm good at this. Right. So, the other thing that I've been doing today, let me put that down so you don't hear it drop on the floor, that has been quite fun. I swore a few months ago, well, I didn't swear actually, and there was no cursing. I made an oath that I was not going to dye again because it was traumatic and messy. I don't like anything where you get chemicals on your hand. Glue is not my favourite thing. Paint is not my favourite thing. I'll do it for the end effect, and that's about it. It's not something I usually find particularly fun. Having said that, I decided that it would be fun to actually have another go at dyeing and hand painting some yarn and trying out some new dyeing techniques. I've just realised the thing that I want to talk about is over there. Stand by. So, I sent off to Wingham Woolworks for this dyeing sampler kit. I've had one of these before in a different colour. It's landscape dyes, and they give you a set of 6 different colours depending on the sort of theme that you choose, and there's about 20 grams of each. I've forgotten how much that means you can dye with the set, but anyway, yeah, so I got this set, and I also sent off to another crowd to get some things to dye. Because I particularly wanted a sock blank. I thought that would be quite exciting. I like knitting. Enjoyed knitting the sock blank that I did a little while ago, and so I thought I'd have a crack at dyeing one. So this was my first attempt. I came home last night from work and decided that I would have a go at dyeing yarn. And I really like this bluey grey bit at the end here. Just, I don't know if you can see that very well. And I like all the reds in there. And there's also, somewhere in here, some purpley bits. Is that coming up brown or purpley? I'm not sure. Some purpley bits. Here's another bit. It's quite dark. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. It was quite fun. I mixed up all the dyes and I did it outside. It was a bit chilly yesterday and quite windy, so things were flapping about the garden everywhere. But anyway, that's a superwash yarn. It's is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it came from this crowd, DT Craft and Design. Can you see it? Is it going to focus? I'll let it have a think for a minute, and we'll do that thing where I make it focus, or try to make it focus and then fail dismally. Right, so they came from DT Craft and Design. So anyway, I was so excited about yesterday's attempt. I like this the more I look at it, actually. As I say, the colours, what the aim was, I wanted to see what all 6 of the colours looked like. And so I just bunged them on, really. So I can't really lay claim for having any sort of colour genius. That's just how it came out of the packet. So this morning I thought I would have another go. And I got out my sock blank, and I had a really specific idea about what I wanted to do and the effect that I was wanting. And I got out all the colours, and this is the sock blank. I like this end here. I like that with all the reds and the speckly bits and those stripy bits. This end I had painted mostly grey and purple. This purple bit down the very bottom is actually some waste yarn that they just have on the end. So anyway, I had painted this mostly grey and purple, and then I put a very neat little row of red spots through the middle, and that red has gone everywhere and really muddied up the purple bits, and there's lots of these sort of light patches. The only bit where you can see the purple is really right down the bottom. Just, I don't know if you can see that very well, just really in there. Anyway, I'm not completely enamoured with the effect, and I think what I'm going to do is next time I have a go at dyeing, which should be relatively soon, and I mix up some more purple, I'm just going to paint the whole of this end purple and hope that it sort of fills in the gaps a bit and maybe makes these colours a bit more bluey purple. They'll probably just come out brown. But anyway, I'm just going to have a wee crack at over dyeing that just to see if it improves the situation. I still think that it would make interesting socks. Now the interesting thing about this sock blank is that actually most sock blanks are just sort of like helicopter. I wonder what he's doing. Anyway, this sock blank has 2 threads of yarn that have been knitted together, so that in theory you can get 2 balls of yarn that are exactly the same, and therefore 2 socks that are exactly the same. So that should be rather interesting, I think, having 2. I'm not that bothered about really matchy socks. I don't mind if they're a bit different, but I suppose if you are bothered, then it's probably a good thing to know about. But anyway, so I have another crack at that one. I think the thing to mention about these 2 is that I dyed them in the microwave, which was really easy to do. It's something that I'd not done before. I always put things in the oven, and it seemed to be a lot less messy than it normally is. And I think this one, from start to finish, even mixing up the dyes and cleaning everything up and putting it all away, it probably took me less than an hour. So that was quite fun. This morning it took me a bit more than an hour because I cleaned out all the pots and things, but and the other thing is I had some dyes left over, so I did some fibre as well, but that's still drying on the clothesline. And I had lots of the reds left over, but not so much of the grey and the purple. So it's kind of come out rusty colours. I'm not convinced I haven't completely felted the top that I used. You can never really tell until it's dry and it fluffs up again, but it's not looking good now. So anyway, I'll I'm going to go down after this and have a wee look just to see what has actually happened, to see if I do just have a massive felted mess. It was some lovely Corriedale when I started. It might not be lovely Corriedale anymore. But anyway, we shall see. Okay, so the last thing I had to talk about was actually supposed to be part of the sock segment. The lame sock segment. Anyway, Kristen from Vine from the Yarngasm podcast was having a despackle for socks. So people were spinning for socks, and I'm not sure if that's even going on, and I haven't been on the boards for ages. It might be finished by now. I think it might be finished. But nevertheless, I have finished spinning, and I now actually have yarn. I think it's about the sport weight. This was Polworth, and so it's lovely and springy. And I've put quite a bit of twist into it. And the fibre came from All the Pretty Fibres. It was quite compacted when it came. I had to fluff it up a bit, and there were lots of little bits that I had to, like little noily bits that I had to pick out as well. The other thing is, I think I'm a bit out of practice with my spinning, because I found when I came to ply it, there was one particular ply that had quite a few weak spots in it where it just came apart, and I had thought I'd put quite a lot of twist into it. So just need more practice at spinning. So there's a few joins in there. I don't mind having to join plies in and all that sort of stuff. I think you're going to have to do it at some point, so you might as well learn to get good at it. I'm not sure what the yardage is. I'm just going to divide it into 2 balls and start knitting toe-up socks and see how far I get. It's a bit of a learning experience, because looking at the twist, I feel like the plies are over twisted, but when I did a twisty they looked right and all this sort of thing. So I'm just going to go forth boldly and see how the socks come out. I love the colours though. I love the colours. That was the other thing. When I was washing this, the yarn, the colours were bleeding a lot, and so I used the Knitmore Girls citric acid treatment, and hopefully it's not bleeding anymore. I haven't actually washed it to know, I just dried it out. So once I've done the socks and I wash them, I may do the citric acid treatment again if I need to. But anyway, so I gave that a shot and can't yet report how successful it was. So there you go. That's all I have to witter on about this week. That's what's been going on. It's been lovely to have you here and to chat again. It's always so fun when you pop by the Revelry boards and you say hello or send me a message or something like that. I'm always really interested to see what you're doing. I have some notice segment. The first one is for Diane. Diane and I have been having a conversation on Ravelry about the Anything But Lazy Kate. Diane, I'm in the process of doing a video about the Lazy Kate. I've done the first part, and I just want to do a segment of it in action, so stand by, it's coming your way. And the other notice is for Linda Thompson 23. There are 19 more sleeps until we go to Shetland Wool Week. Start packing. Anyway, as I said, it's been lovely to be back in the factory chatting to you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to talking to you again. Bye!